Virginia, different events going on, real estate, questions. I'll give people a few little bit of time just to hop on here. But we got a lot of stuff happening in Northern Virginia. So, and actually, tell me if you're watching the World Cup. We got, I think it's Croatia staying in Alexandria. So that'd be pretty funny just to see these you know, players from Europe that are superstars over there, and then no one really knows who they are in the United States. And it's interesting because some of the places where these teams are playing, they might be in like Missouri or different places like that, and they're just not. It's like Europeans, so they're not used to like the American, like Middle America, and like going to like Taco Bells, and just the cultural differences is pretty interesting. All right. Tell me where you're watching from. Drop it in the comments section below. And we will start just by going over a few cool events going on in the Northern Virginia area, and then talk about some real estate related things. And of course, yeah, anytime, just drop questions in the chat. So we have a DC Film Festival going on right now. It's a documentary film festival. That's kind of cool. There's panels, master classes, workshops. Actually, I might want to check that out. I actually want to get into documentary filmmaking. I think that'd be a pretty cool little hobby to do, because you can make. I love watching documentaries, and they're just probably watch some tonight, and I feel like there's you can make a documentary about anything if you just choose the right topic and make it professional. We also have an Alexandria Jazz Fest going on this weekend. So live performances, ship tours, family friendly activities. That's over in Waterfront Park in Alexandria. We got a Children's Summer Reading Festival in Fairfax County. And this is kind of cool. So there's going to be a family flight day. More than 60 aircraft are going to take over the grounds of the Air and Space Museum in Chantilly. So if you're into that. And we have Taste of Springfield as well. So, man, I might have to check out the documentary thing, Taste of Springfield. That's going to be over at Springfield Town Center. So you get local restaurants, chefs, live music, and family-friendly entertainment. And then in Fairfax County, over at the was it Bunnyman Brewing, we have a beer fest. So America's 250th anniversary. It's going to be on June 13th at 11 a.m. And there's going to be live music, food, activities. So that's in Bunnyman Brewing in Chantilly. We got a book fair. I don't think anyone cares about the book fair. And then we got a Columbia Pike Blues Festival. So that's pretty cool at Penrose Square. So on June 13th, noon to 8 p.m., there's going to be a blues festival. So, man, we got a lot of stuff going on this weekend. Tell me which one you're going to be checking out. Oh, and I can't forget about this one. So we have UFC at the White House. So you actually, if you're driving anywhere near that area, definitely be careful, because a lot of the roads this weekend are going to be shut down for this UFC event. They're putting the octagon on the front lawn. So that should be pretty interesting. And I'm sure there's going to be traffic is going to be backed up. There's going to be protests. There's who knows there's going to be a lot of craziness going on. So I'll have to. I don't really watch UFC too much. I do watch boxing, like heavyweight boxing, but maybe I'll check out UFC on the lawn. I can't imagine how many times we're going to have fights, on the White House lawn. I think that's pretty crazy. Tell me if you're dropping the comments if you're going to watch it. I don't know. All right. So next up, let's talk a little bit about Northern Virginia home prices. So if you've been following the market, there's been a spike in home prices. Obviously, it depends on location, price range, everything like that. But median price has steadily increased. Well, it's about a 1% increase from last year, but in the different localities, like Arlington, for example, median prices hit 928,000, which is a 15% increase in prices. So that's pretty substantial. Um, And then the average home price in Arlington is 1,061,000. So that's a 7.1 increase. So Arlington has been super hot, especially like, yeah, anything under a million or really even up to like 1.5, anything under 2 million. Like a lot of times it'll get multiple offers and could be pretty competitive. I mean, we had one recently where, we expected there was going to be multiple offers. What we didn't expect was that they took an offer before it even hit the market. So somebody made a sight unseen offer in coming soon status, and obviously made an excellent offer and beat us out. So definitely very competitive in Arlington. Fairfax County also saw higher prices. So the median sales price hit 805,000, which is a 4% increase from last year. Um, yeah, so and the average price in the county is almost at $1 million in Fairfax County. So the average sales price in Fairfax County is now 953,000, which is a 6.3% increase year over year. And Alexandria City, actually, the median price is actually lower than last year, but its average price went up by 4.5%. The median price went down 2.5%. And then City of Falls Church, kind of the same thing. The median price decreased by 13% to 1.172%, but the average home price in Falls Church City went up 8.6% to 1.212 million. And then Loudoun County actually kind of stayed relatively steady, no median price change, and then a modest 1.8% average price increase. So Arlington is, you can see by those stats, Arlington has been the hottest market. Location, location, location. You get this close to DC, but you still got that residential, uh, vibe going on. And then you get further out into Loudoun County, prices haven't really dropped, but they've kind of been flat more or less. Another interesting real estate news, we'll talk about the power plant in North Old Town. So the city council is considering a $135 million funding plan for this. So, and I'm sure there's going to be a million different revisions and back and forth, but it's basically a 30-year, $135 million financing. Um, and they're saying that the development could produce about $1 billion in tax revenue over the 30 years of the funding deal, which would leave the city with a net gain of 775 million. So um, it's kind of there's a lot of information as to how this would actually be funded, but revenue bonds are proposed to be repaid from a portion of the eligible revenues. So they're kind of betting on the future of it. Um, yeah, this project, I mean, projects like this they're going to take a while. It's going to be a lot of back and forth, and hopefully it's not all on the taxpayers or anything like that. But yeah, another waterfront in Old Town Alexandria is going to generate so much tax revenue that I could see the potential there. Um, Another thing to note: the World Cup. So, um, tell me where you're going to be watching the World Cup and who you think is going to win the World Cup. I think USA has a 2% chance of winning the World Cup. Someone that knows soccer better than me would know. But fun fact, I was actually at World Cup '94 at RFK Stadium um, back in the day. Now when you drive by RFK, it's just a pile of well, you can't even see anything. I think it's all just completely demolished. But tell me where you're going to be watching the World Cup. I know Four Courts is the number one soccer bar in the United States. It's funny that we have the number one, Arlington, Virginia has the number one soccer bar in the United States. That place is going to be completely packed. I'm sure Inca Social is going to be packed and loud. Inca Social is packed and loud when there's like Division III soccer in Peru going on, much less the World Cup. So I'm sure that'll be a good time. I remember I was at Inca Social the first weekend of college football. It's like Ohio State versus Michigan, and Inca Social had like some minor league soccer game on, and I was like, "Hey, I'm not even a huge football fan, but can we get the?" They had plenty of TV, so I wasn't interrupting anybody, but they were playing some random soccer game as opposed to like Ohio State and Michigan. um, let's see. Do you guys have any questions about anything going on in the Northern Virginia market? The condo market is still pretty slow. DC is very slow. Um, but Northern Virginia single family house market, anything that is updated and not priced crazy is gonna usually goes pretty quickly. Well, if you watch this at a later time, you can still drop questions. I'll look back on this and like I'll check it probably every day or so. So if you have any questions about the Northern Virginia market, just drop them in the comment section and I'll be sure to answer it. And of course, feel free to reach out to me anytime if you're looking to buy or sell in Northern Virginia. The market's still pretty competitive, but we have access to off-market deals through our brokerage. 80,000 some people in our brokerage, plenty in the DC area. So there's always deals that you might not see on Zillow, might not see in the MLS that we have access to. And sometimes they need work. Sometimes there's investor deals, but sometimes they're just move-in ready, and a seller might not want to just deal with a bunch of people running through their house. So we're always on the lookout for off-market properties. All right. Well, I think I'm going to start doing these live streams. The goal with the live streams to answer questions, give you some updates on the market, that kind of thing. But I think I'm going to, yeah, and also improve every single time. So I'm going to start using maybe some more graphics and probably blasting this out to my email list where we also go over market updates just so we get some more people on this. But every week we'll try to get a little bit better on the live stream. Eventually, I'll have a real studio to shoot this out of. Um, but yeah, we'll probably do this like once a week, every Thursday night. So come ready with your questions, and yeah, we'll go from there. All right, see ya.